All right, ladies and gentlemen, personally, I cannot wait. I know the countdown is still going on, but it's a Commander Masters release day stream. Pew, 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 pew. I need like fireworks and air horns. Pew, 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 pew. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy Friday morning, and welcome to Friday Morning Magic, the most exciting, the most entertaining, the most fun you can have at this URL at this very moment on the entire internet. You guys know me. My name is Josh. We are Hometown TCG, and we've got a lot to talk about today, but as we do every Friday, I'm going to start by chatting with you all about your week. How is everything going? I hope you guys have had a fantastic week. Cheers to each and every one of you out there. And while you guys, if you're in the chat, you let me know you're here. You let me know how your week was. Give me some information about you. What brought you to the stream this morning? Anything you want to say to our community. While you do that, I'm going to say cheers. I can get some coffee in me. As we do every week, we will evaluate levels as we go. Make sure background music is not too loud. Make sure I am not too loud, because you guys know I have a tendency to talk a lot. And that's kind of where we'll start today. I'll tell, we start every Friday with a little personal story. My daughter, God bless her soul, turned 10 months. And it's mine and my wife's anniversary today. And we didn't even remember it was our anniversary today. But that's a story for another day. We celebrated last weekend. We went out last weekend. We went out to the city. But this weekend, we have our nephew's birthday, and it's my daughter's, my daughter turned 10 months, and my wife said to me, she goes, wow, this baby talks a lot. I wonder where she gets that from. And, that was a very revealing moment for me, because I was like, oh yeah, why, way back when I started the YouTube channel, why did I do it? Well, listen, some of us like to talk, and I think it's fair to say I fall into that category. I couldn't even say that. She's got awkward long legs. She's toppling over all the time. She's talking her little head off. Most of this is probably my fault, like, in fairness. Good morning to each and every one of you. CM says, good morning. Maybe sounds like my 5-year-old. Good news, bad news. It doesn't change. Listen, I am going to raise just like my wife, a loud, strong lady. She is loud and strong, and I am so proud of that. Even when, God, I just need some sleep. Ever never says like father, like daughter. Yes, you are not wrong. I talk a lot. We are getting into it as you guys are filtering in this morning. Scott, MC, cheers. Ever never, good morning, and thank you for the congratulations. Devin, Channel Goat, good morning. CM, good morning, good morning. It is, in fact, Friday. We are here for Friday Morning Magic. We have so much to talk about today. We have Commander Masters official release. That's right, Commander Masters has dropped. And like we do with every set, I have cultivated the mass amount of sales that have gone through TCG Player, and I have them for our viewing and analysis and our pleasure. I ran out of air there. It's going to be fun. There's a lot going on. The Commander deck breakdown is super interesting. The box discrepancy on this set is insane. I want to talk prices. Prices are flying high. Then they went go. It's going nuts. And I want to talk about singles because everyone knows by singles. Everyone knows that. I got a question for you guys about some Professor content this week. Oh, it's going to be a good one. Strider says, have you talked about Post Malone? I have. I did a video on the channel. We'll probably mention it today because it's massive Magic news, but I did a video on the channel about it. Now, yeah, you know what, Strider, I can guarantee that we will bring it up today. Scott MC says, you talk. I didn't even notice. You guys are mean. Anyway, without further ado, Scott MC, you don't have to say it twice. Like, the burn was good the first time. Without further ado, it is time. The information, the info, the thing that sets this channel aside from all other Magic channels, not just Magic channels that are by fans, not store owners, not crazy investors, just Magic players and Magic fans. The thing that sets us all aside is the fact that we have the numbers. This right here is a visual representation of every single sold product for Commander Masters when it comes to sealed boxes on the popular marketplace TCG Player. So this is all the sealed sold product from TCG Player, and I am not only proud of this data, but I think we can use it to not only be better consumers, but fully embrace the, when a set is not for me, get comfortable leaving it on the shelf, what sets do the community like, what sets don't we like, etc. We have it all here, and this tells us a very interesting story. Now, as we go through this as the first segment of the day, you guys in chat, let me know your thoughts, and also let me know what you think about this breakdown. Let me know, do you think something is surprising? Do you think it's not? I'm very interested in hearing what you have to say as I go through this data. But we're going to talk about summaries first. The total number of boxes sold in this top left corner is 15,709 total boxes sold for a total community spend. How many of our hard-earned dollars do we spend on this product? Well, 2.3+ million hard-earned dollars of community money went to Commander Masters on TCG Player alone. Again, that's right. That is just TCG Player. How much of that was pre-sale? Well, lucky for us, most of it, because as I update this data, I updated this morning, so only sales that have happened today are not considered pre-sale data. That's right, 2.3 mil and 1,551 of the 1,709 boxes that were sold are all pre-sale boxes. Those are pretty good numbers. Now, I want to preface the rest of everything we're going to talk about today with this. Commander Masters is going to go down in history as a popular Magic set. It is the first Master set ever to pander directly to Commander and Commander enthusiasts. It is something that will be widely remembered, and I think it's going to be a big deal. That being said, that does not mean we cannot be critical about some of the aspects of this set, and that does not make this set a massive success. When the sets were announced, and I've been harping on this for some time now, when the sets were announced in 2023 and we looked into the future, we stared deep into the future of Wizards of the Coast plans. we thought Commander Masters was going to be the big dog. This was supposed to be it. This was supposed to be the crowning achievement, the crown jewel. And instead, it seems like a good set. And to me, when you have the highest expectations, right? When you're Michael Jordan, when you're LeBron James, and you have the ultimate Lionel Messi, when you have the ultimate expectations, and you just are normal, that to me is not a massive win in my opinion. So for that, we must keep that in mind as we evaluate Commander Masters. But let's talk about what boxes are selling. If we direct our attention to the pie chart on top here, this is the breakdown of what boxes are selling. As far as all that product that's moving through the community, what boxes are selling. And as we see, the Commander decks in the giant green here are the overwhelming favorite. The just absolute Goliath of this set are the Commander decks. Now, there are a parade of Commander decks and a breakdown there that we will talk about in just 1 second, but just know of all the boxes being sold, Commander decks are vastly the most popular, and this is the first time we've tracked the sale of Commander decks. If you want me to do that going forward, let me know, but I thought the Commander decks for this one were super important, so we added them to the chart, and lo and behold, these things are popping off. Now, when we talk about the big three, as I've always called them, the collector, the set, and the draft box, there's been kind of an understood breakdown. If you've been around the channel for a while, you know that there's an understood breakdown when it comes to the big three. Set boxes are going to be what has the widest reach of the community. Collector boxes are going to bring in a ton of money because they're expensive. And like we talked about, excuse me, TCG Player is not the best for draft boxes because we truly do buy draft boxes to draft these days rather than just, or play sealed rather than just to crack packs. And TCG Player boxes, I believe, are probably more for cracking packs. But the breakdown of the big three this time is a bit off, and a large contributor to that factor is going to be the price of the set booster box. Now, when the set booster box dropped, the consequence or the community fear was that this thing was going to go to $500, but it does look like it has gone in the opposite direction. And if we take a second quickly to head over to TCG Player and take a look at some prices, and we filter this down just to some set boxes here. Let's see, go here, if you filter sealed product, let's take a look, and let's find the set. There we go. The set booster box is down to $332.97. Like, this has been a big drop off, and we see that's a massive deal when it comes to like the box we're choosing to buy. Now, when we see a box drop in price, it's twofold, right? We love the idea of a box dropping in price because we can get some cheap product. But we also kind of fear the idea of a box dropping in price because then we're like, what does everyone know that we don't know? When we see a box tanking in price, most enthusiasts don't go like, ooh, now's my time to shine. Most people are like, why is this so cheap? What's going on? That's why, Amazon dumps happen and stuff like that. And the price has to be so low to really get people to not care about any of that consensus and buy that out. So yeah, this is really interesting. The set box price is definitely contributing to the lesser percentage of set boxes being purchased. And the collector box price as the lowest point of entry, where you can just like, the lowest amount of money you need to walk into your game store and walk out with a sealed box is wild to me. Yes, it's only 4 packs. Yes, if you do that, you're going to be done cracking packs in, before you finish your coffee. Like, it's gonna be wild. But the fact that that's the cheapest point of entry is just, it feels super off. And I know there have been other proponents of wanting to make smaller collector boxes and juicing the packs and like really trying to make them collectible. I like the 12-pack collector boxes. Like, I don't know. I like that feeling. I think that's a good move, and the 4-pack collector boxes are interesting. But enough about the auxiliary products. Not enough about the auxiliary product. It's worth mentioning that of the total number of boxes sold, only 5,117 of them are of the big three. So the commander decks we see the percentages here, but when you hear the number, it's almost more staggering just how wide that disparity is. It blows me away, and I got to admit, I knew the commander decks would sell. I didn't know they'd be that crazy. But let's break down the commander decks. Like, I think this is where it gets wildly interesting when you break down the sale of the Commander decks. Now, when we initially did this graph way back when, longtime viewers and subscribers of this channel will remember, it was all 2 decks. It was, we see here on the right side of the graph, we have the Sliver deck and the Eldrazi deck sitting at 29 and 32 to 33% roughly respectively. And this chart was insane. When we first put this up, it was 2 decks were selling like hotcakes, and the other 2 decks were technically there also. It looked like a Pac-Man chart. It was just it was probably well over 3/4, maybe even 4/5 of just the 2 decks. But it does seem that things have leveled out. And if we take a look at some of the sales numbers, and I didn't prep this sheet, so I don't know if it's going to show up well. And I don't have a daily sale breakdown, but this product, the Planeswalker deck and the Enchantment deck here, have really turned it around. Here, let's pull up. Here we go. The Enchantment deck and the Planeswalker deck have sold insane numbers in the last like 2 weeks. It's been, I did not see that coming, and I do believe part of that can be attributed to the fact that we got the list for the decks and we realized like, oh yeah, you can probably crack these for product and crack these for singles and make some money, and I think that's probably still there. But some of these decks look fun. The Enchantment deck looks like a lot of fun. The Planeswalker party deck looks like a good time. And I think people really leaned into, oh, wow, they're so much cheaper, and I can buy them, and I can play them in a pod, and I can have them around the house. I think people really embraced that in the back 9, the second half of these sales, and I really think that's a big deal. But we still see here that those 2 decks are the overwhelming favorite, while the other 2 have caught up. It's still like, if this was a race, it's like Usain Bolt in the later years. You know, people caught up. They still didn't have a chance of winning, but like, they caught up, you know what I'm saying? So the Planeswalker Party and Enchantment deck are, they're doing well. They're catching up here. And it's worth noting that if we take a look on the left side of the screen, there was 7,132 deck sets sold, meaning people are buying these things like in sets. It's just really cool. These are decks as a set sold. So this is really neat. I think this is fun. I love the idea of buying the set, keeping it around the house, and like having that. And then the last thing I do want to look at is the total spend per product. Where are we spending our money? The reason I have this graph on there is I think it's interesting. Like, listen, we say Magic is expensive, and it is. And we talk about the price of Magic and how like drastically Magic has shifted in our lifetime and just the time we've been fans. So it's nice to know where we're spending our hard-earned money. And Commander decks like is the way to go. But when you consider 67, almost 68% of all the products sold are Commander decks, we're only spending 40% of the total money we've spent on that product. It feels like we're getting a pretty good value there. It feels like something we're willing to engage with. Collector box, again, is like, and this is weird. This graph like flipped itself on its head from the normal set. We got Commander box and set box kind of taking their turns here. And again, TCG players weird for draft boxes. But while we talk about the final results for Commander Masters, I want to hear from you guys and hear what you guys have to say. Is it true that the set packs have more cards than 15? You know, honestly, I'm not 100% sure. So the description says 15 Magic cards, and I will say, you know, ever never, I will point out that I have said I'm probably skipping this set. Like, I'm trying to embrace the not every set is for you. I'm doing the best. Blue Control, are you forgetting Commander Legends 2? It's not the first Commander. No, it's not the first Commander set. It's the first Commander set that is a Masters set. I'm not, yes. They put out other Commander set. This is the first Commander set that is of the Masters series. So I think it will be fondly remembered because of that. Rob Bunsama, morning. I've got my cold caffeine and I am ready. Cheers, Rob. Good morning. Wow, almost 50% are Commander decks. So CM, just really quick, want to pop back over one more time. More than 50% of all the boxes sold are Commander decks. 67.4% are Commander decks. It's pretty insane, I got to admit. So it's been a wild ride, and I do want to say, I think it's worth noting that these numbers for like a regular Magic set are good. But I started this video by saying I had higher expectations for Commander Masters. I 100% had higher expectations for Commander Masters, and in my opinion, they have fallen short of those expectations. And the way that I'm going to talk about this going forward is definitely going to be about, total sales, but as well the price of the box. And so I do want to wrap up today talking about what the Commander Masters product is going to cost regular enthusiasts. What are we going to pay for this? And how can we justify some of these things? And I have a singles take here. So let's pop over really quick. Let's take a look at sealed product. What we have here pulled up is the TCG Player Store. I want to get some sealed product discussion going, and I want to talk mostly about the big three. The Commander decks are going to swing here and there. I hope, it's my hope, in my opinion, that the Commander decks continue to see reprints. I think Commander decks should never be a special commodity, right? With an exception being, if you want to have a regular version of a deck and then a special blingy version of that deck that costs more and is limited printed, that's fine. But the core Commander deck should never be a limited commodity, because it lessens the ability to experience the pod play of those decks. That Magic and Wizards of the Coast, to their credit, does an amazing job designing these decks to be played in this pod. And I really think that when you limit them and make them this chase collectible thing, it doesn't bode well. I expect to see more Lord of the Rings Commander decks. I would like to see more of these Commander decks. I cannot imagine some of these prices hold, but hey, what do I know? This is not official financial advice. But the things that are jarring to me right off the bat are, we have to start with the idea of the set booster box, right? The set booster box price is jarring. It's wild. And you guys can't see that, but my Bing just popped up and said lower prices found, and I can save on eBay $46.53, saying on eBay this is selling for $299.44. So it's not just this price. But let's go off this price. Let's not get into craziness of eBay right now. This price is jarring to me, and this graph does in fact tell a tale, right? We see the idea that this product was announced. We were excited, 410 plus, right? And it told the story that Wizards of the Coast would not do this. They're going to put something in these boxes. And I heard to the end of the earth, there's going to be something in these boxes. And I probably said on this channel at some point, there's going to be something in these boxes. There's no way there's going to be nothing in these boxes. And you look at the boxes, and yes, the reprints are cool. I understand that. But historically, reprinting cards and putting them in different treatments has not moved the needle for our community. And we see that and in abundance when we look at the Commander Masters set booster box. We see the price here has fallen, and that just goes to show, I think, more than the quality of the product, more than the reprints you can get, this shows the community's emotional feeling to paying this much for a set booster box. Most enthusiasts care about what they get out of the box, but it doesn't matter if you can't afford the base price. If you must pay this much to play. This is your barrier for entry. A set box, $110 is your barrier to entry. If you don't have $110, there's no reason to worry about what the EV of the box is or what you can get out of the box. There's no point in concerning yourself with that. Well, Commander Masters, your price to play, your price per entry is $332. And if you don't have that on you, then there's just no point in caring what you can pull out of the box or what the EV of the box is. And I think we see a lot of that going on here, and I think that contributes most to the purchase of the collector booster box. Yes, collector products probably play a little better in Commander when you only need one-ofs and you have a Commander out there to constantly bling out, but hey, some people have that FOMO, and it's real. Some people just say, I need to engage with this Magic set. I want to buy a product. What can I afford? And that's our most affordable entry point. We'll take a look at that one next. But I think that's got something to do with the price of these sales. But what do you guys think about the set booster box? Do you think it's a big miss? Do you think it's a hit? Has anybody out there bought a bunch of them and enjoyed them? We got a lot of people in chat right now. Let me know if you have opened the collector booster box and if you have enjoyed yourself. But the collector booster box, I think, is it's going to be the poster boy or the poster child for prices on this set and where this set went, as far as the highest of the highs and the hype and the lowest of the lows, and wherever it lands somewhere in the between, right? But I do think there's a more important product to talk about. Oh, let's see, can I reopen closed tab? Oh, I can. Look at that. I'm trying out Microsoft Edge. Microsoft Edge is Microsoft edging. Let's go. The draft booster box is something that I think could be okay in the long run. Right now, we are not loving the draft booster box, but I do think historically Wizards has done an amazing job with commander sets and precons, or not precons, but limited play experience. And I think limited play in Commander Masters is probably going to be very good. Heck, look at some of the cards they printed. They did sacrifice some value and some rarity shifting to really pander to the limited format, and I think it's going to be a lot like, and I've said it before, and this is not saying this is, but it's going to be a lot like Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate 2. I really think we're going to see the limited experience really looked back fondly upon. But have you played Commander Masters Limited? Again, I want to know in the chat. I want to hear from you guys. That's the point of these Friday morning streams is I get ranty, but I do want to hear your opinion and let you know kind of what I think about your thoughts and everything like that. So Commander Masters Draft Booster Box, $270. It's a little iffy. It seems par for the course with the rest of the Commander product and how it's trending. It is worth noting that this one did not have the hype uptick that we saw with the set box. This one just went sideways, my friends. This one is, and again, TCG player, maybe not the best avenue to explore the collector box, but this is the wild one to me. Aside from the set box, we have to look at the Commander Masters collector booster box as the lowest point of entry for a sealed box that isn't a deck. We find ourselves digging into the Commander Masters collector booster box. I know that is a wild thing to say, and when we look at this graph, it tells, just like the set box, it also tells a story, and the story is that of hype. Commander Masters should be the most amazing set that we have ever seen, and then lo and behold, the realization comes through that, listen, the value might be there, but goodness gracious, this is going to take a pretty penny to get your hands on some of these cards. Let me reposition you real quick and we will keep going. So Commander Masters collector boxes, we knew that they were going to be 4 packs in a box, and that is, kind of a safe assumption with some of these Masters collector boxes, looking no further than Double Masters 2022. But some of the cards I thought would do better and drive this product harder than it has. Now, yes, there's a lack of serialized cards in here, and as much as the YouTube community and the online community and the Reddit community wants to scream from the mountaintops that, hey, serialized cards, no good. It's a gimmick. What are we doing? Serialized cards are evil. Wizards is evil. This is bad. The community has proven that, listen, serialized cards are not evil. It's not bad. And it's something we really enjoy. Like, all the sets with serialized cards sell well. People are excited to open them. There really is little to no drawback that I can come up with off the top of my head or through months of thinking about this. And the lack of a serialized card here is something that I think has taken notice. But I don't think that's the biggest deal in the world. I do think that, again, what we said earlier in the first segment about the prices and the sales overall is that we historically do not engage with products that are all about like a different and more blingy version of something. I've used the examples of Dominaria United and Streets of New Capenna. When we have amazing foil treatments of cards that look unlike anything we've ever seen and are just gorgeous. Like, have you looked at a gilded foil? It's an amazing Magic card. That doesn't move the needle for us as collectors anymore. That doesn't move the needle for us as people who want to buy these boxes anymore. And that just goes to show here. Now, again, Commander panders itself a little bit better to that, having the face commander, the portrait commander, being able to sit like on the table and show off to everyone. I think it's really cool. But again, the whole super blingy textured foil craziness is not something that really moves the needle for us. And that shows here. But one thing that is interesting that's worth talking about is because this is the best point for entry as far as the sealed product goes, we see a larger number of sales of collector cases. Like, I did not see that coming. We see a larger number of sales of collector cases just because, like, hey, we can get our hands on these for a little bit cheaper. I mean, we're getting collector cases for $1,170. And again, I'm not saying that that's affordable or that's great, or when you talk about the price per pack, yes, it's still low. But for a collector case, if you were to tell me I could buy one for, $1,000, I'd be like, oh, I'd at least listen to you. I'd hear you out. So I think we're seeing a lot of that. This is selling much more than we see Magic cases normally sell. Magic is a game that goes super wide, has a ton of enthusiasts, but man, oh man, this collector case is selling really well. Now, overall, just to kind of summarize, Commander Masters, again, is going to be a successful set. We're going to look back on it fondly. But me, oh my, it is worth noting that release day prices are low, and barring any abnormalities with the print run where things are super low or things run out and don't get reprinted, I don't see some kind of secondary spike coming anytime soon. And it's weird because from our side of the table, right, this is a channel that focuses on the regular enthusiast, the player. I don't own a game store. I don't have a large investment fund. I work a 9 to 5. I started the stream by telling a story about my family this morning, about my daughter and how she just doesn't stop talking like I don't stop talking. I don't have an investment in that side of the game, but I do empathize with the fact that when box prices come down this low and I'm like, oh, like, sweet, maybe I'll buy some product because it's so cheap. That does mean that the places that we love to play Magic, MinMax Games, again, one of the sponsors of this channel, the LGS that chooses to support this channel, like, it hurts them, and that does not go without noticing, and that's worth mentioning. So it's a double-edged sword. It 100% is. It's a weird spot. So I want to talk about all that. This has been a wild take. I want to get to some of your guys' takes in chat that you've been talking about. It's been a wild ride. Thank you all for hanging out while we do this. Cheers as we take a break, read some chat messages. Kugain Gaming, amazing channel. You guys should check them out. Thank you for joining us this morning. I think the price point would have been fine if the reprints were better. I think a lot of people feel that way, but in fairness, the reprints have been pretty okay. MTG Captain Low Shedding, good morning. What's up? I think things like Mana Vault, Mana Crypt, the price point would have been neat. Yes. I know the lack of Mana Vault, Mana Crypt 100%. Again, I hear you, and I totally understand you. Order says, damn it, Josh, don't give them any ideas about making premium decks now. Listen, Warhammer premium decks already exist, and I am fine with premium product that doesn't affect the playability and availability of the regular cards for people who want to play Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast gets credit here. I think they do a good job. They make crazy chase versions that we want, and they make a regular version that's super affordable and cheap. I mean, fetch lands are a great example of this. Etched or the full art foil old border or the old border foil fetch lands are expensive from Modern Horizons 2, and the regular fetch lands that are all over the boxes are super cheap. I think that's probably pretty healthy. The game is affordable and playable, and there is collectability if you choose to go chase it. Josh jumped on my LGS online stores. They had the single I wanted and just paid for it. There you go. Buy single. Oh, buy single. That's worth talking about. I have a professor question for you guys. Colin was just looking at the collector box graph. Honestly, the texture cards are way too easy to pull. Really, have you pulled a bunch? It's a tough spot, but how bad does it feel to buy local and see you can buy online for $40 cheaper? Yes. Like, that's the big concern, right? And Colin, this is a great point in chat. Thank you, Colin. Anyone else in chat, if they've bought local, they want to talk about their experience, supporting their game store and maybe paying a little bit extra, I'd love to hear about that. But Colin, that is tough. Like, listen, it's tough, and you have to know, like, the benefit is you have a hope, and there's a lot of game stores out there that are dropping things like, Lorcana or like Lord of the Rings collector booster box. I don't know why I just had like a complete like blank there. Lorcana, Lord of the Rings collector booster box. The complete bundle that I have back here, like highly coveted products. And it's interesting that if you're a loyal customer, most of the time, most of the good game stores will be like, oh, I know this price is, they honor it the other way. The price is going crazy online and going nuts, but like, you're a regular customer. Like, you buy the product for what it is, and they balance it out that way. I think that's something that I've seen done in the past. I know, again, this is not a MinMax ad. We already did a read about MinMax, and they are awesome. So I just like to talk about some of the stuff they do, because they'll just honor pre-order prices no matter where the box goes. If you pre-ordered Lord of the Rings Collector from them at $337 or whatever they were pre-ordering it at, they didn't call you back when it went to $420, $425 and say, oh, sorry, your pre-order's canceled. They said, nope, shipped you the box. And they will always do that. That's just, good game stores operate that way, and it's love to see. Hugain, thank you for the shout out. Oh, of course. You got to shout out great channels that find their way into the stream. Scott MC says the price is too high for me, but selling to someone according to the data, not every product is for everyone. Yes. Yeah, like, listen, according to the data, it is selling, and like we said, we will always respect that, regardless of, that's why I gather the data, because regardless of my emotions, when it comes to a product, it's nice to have the information. Scott, totally. Ordered on Lorcana, their boxes don't have shrink wrap. It looks like they're going to have an issue with people taking packs out. Oh my god, I don't know the Lorcana drama. I got a buddy, shout out Dennis, big shout out to Big Daddy Vegas. Dennis is out at Gen Con right now, hanging out at Gen Con, sending me some pictures, sending me some information. So he's doing the Gen Con thing and crushing it out there, so shout out to him. I don't know anything about the Lorcana situation. I will know about the Lorcana situation. I will probably do a video over on Trading Card Geeks. I've been doing like 6 or 7 videos a week over here, so I don't do many videos over there. But Indie TCG stuff is fun to talk about. Indie TCG stuff, for those who watch the Shark Typhoon, he's growing. There are double-digit sharks in the Shark Typhoon. That is right. Josh Smith, good morning. No reason to be sorry, and to stop by whenever you can. I think there's plenty to talk about. We got a wild morning still planned today. Donnie Meatballs. What a YouTube name. Let's go. That's amazing. Would the sealed product be better if the collector box were like 8 to 12 packs? 4 packs bring the risk of getting skunked in the equation. Yeah, listen, I think it's hard. I think it's hard to have less packs and ask for more money in the position Magic's in right now. I think you find yourself in a weird spot. So this is, I don't know, Commander Masters is going to be super interesting. If you want to keep following that, and if you're interested in other sets, I did a Dominaria Remastered video. Make sure you check out channel memberships. Channel memberships have just opened up. You get access to cool emojis like this and any other emojis you might suggest. You get access to exclusive members only content, all for only $5 a month. We did a Dominaria Remastered video this last weekend. We're going to do another channel membership video. I'm going to try to do at least one a week, if not more. It's going to focus on the sets that aren't mainstream. Like, listen, these sets were hype, and then they kind of fell out of favor because of the rapid release cycle. It's not something people talk about as much, and I want to continue talking about the data with those sets and continue digging into some of that fun information. So if you want, check that out. If not, there's no pressure. I appreciate everyone who has chosen to support so far. There's channel badges, all that fun stuff, and that's the channel membership ad read, and I did it. I did the YouTubes. Let's go. I feel so good about that. But I did something this week that I wasn't sure I was ever gonna do. So I need this. This is a moment for me. You know, we kind of have some drama. We have a little bit of drama. We have a little bit of drama. Let's just put it this way. Let me tease the drama to you. As I take a sip of my coffee, if you have clicked over to May the Zoo be with you yet this morning, you know that there might be a little bit of drama. There might be something going on. Drink my coffee. There's trouble in the hen house. Trouble in paradise. So those who know, my friend George came out, and we had a bit of a falling out, and he kicked me off the podcast. So going forward, I will not be on May the Zoo be with you any longer. And that's a complete lie. I was busy this week. I'm just messing with you guys. I got to see George last week. I was busy this week with some medical stuff. So a little bit busy this week. I couldn't make the podcast, but I was waiting for, yes, this is a joke. Just messing with you guys. But there is some drama this week I do want to talk about, and some things I considered doing for a second there. I think it's interesting as a channel who sits on the side of the counter as we do, as regular enthusiasts. We don't own game stores. We're just people playing and collecting and buying and following Magic the Gathering. I think that there is some content out there that maybe is meant for us that we don't necessarily agree with every single point. I think a lot of it goes unnoticed. So the professor, Tellurian Community College. I'm a massive Tellurian Community College fan. I watch probably every video, and you guys know I'm not the biggest Commander enthusiast in the world, and I still dig in like their shuffle up and plays. I'm all about it. They did the video, is it worth it to buy Commander Masters? And I started to realize, like, hey, I've spent the better part of 6 months now really analyzing the cost of boxes and sales data and gathering all of this information, just a wild amount of information. And I thought for sure, like, I can start giving some feedback on these videos. Like, I've been doing this for a while now. And I had the idea to not watch the professor's video about is it worth it to buy and do a live viewing and live reaction content. And I know, like, listen, reaction content is not new on the internet. I actually reacted to Wizards of the Coast opening the Commander Masters collector booster box. I did a reaction video to that. If you haven't checked it out, it's hard to watch. There's just like no excitement in that video. I have secondhand like content creator anxiety. I'm like trying to entertain people that aren't watching. It's crazy. But I think that might be kind of fun to do. And before I do that, I want to know from you guys, listen, some of the most loyal viewers, some of the people who stop in and either support the channel or subscribe or like show up for the live streams, what do you think about that? Like, do you think that would be interesting content? If it's not going to be interesting, if it's not going to be fun, if we're not going to add anything to it, I don't want to do it. But I think it might be kind of interesting. I think it could be a lot of fun. And I really do think there's a lot to digest in some of these videos. They'd have to be longer form. But what would you guys think? I'm going to drink some coffee really quick. I'm sorry about the May the Zoo be with you joke was necessary. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was necessary. It had to be done. So just something to think about. Let me know your guys' thoughts about maybe doing that, maybe live viewing some of that stuff, and let's talk about Commander Masters singles as I drink some coffee. Josh Smith says, "Dude, I laughed so hard at how uncomfortable the opening was." Opening for what? What opening was uncomfortable? So Blake has gone from loving his job at WotC to almost hating it. Look, it's worth mentioning again. I'm not dunking on Blake. Wizards of the Coast has not only an army of employees who are passionate about Magic the Gathering box opening. Like, starting at the beginning, box opening is a freaking skill. Why do I not open boxes on this channel? Because I'm not good at it. People don't want to see me open boxes. I'm not entertaining enough when it comes to opening boxes. I get too involved in like stories about my past and what this card means to me and how this makes me feel about a Magic set. And people want to know about value and crack at the packs. They want to, do you get hosed? Do you not get hosed? What treatments are you looking for? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just not a good box opener. And Blake deserves, like, it was not his fault. It was not Blake's fault 100% of the time. Like, he needed to be supported by one of those employees. Heck, reach out to the community, one of the amazing box openers, like support Blake, help him set it up, tell him, hey man, put a playmat down, like any number of things. So, people are like, you shouldn't dunk on Blake. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I made it clear, like, it's Wizards to support Blake a little more, but also like, put a playmat down, my man. Like, you know this. You've been around the block for a while. Josh, Commander Master's okay. Thrifty PS Gamer Reviews just on your channel. Love it. Love having you. Thank you for hanging out today. We appreciate you. That was a horrific production. Dude, it was just fun. Again, Donnie Meatballs. Donnie Meatballs. I don't know, man. I don't know if he's just phoning it in, but like, listen, it was tough. It was tough. Colin says, Mr. Hometown. No, just Josh. Just Josh, Colin. If you're here on the live stream and you're chatting in the live stream, it's just Josh, my friend. How long do you think the foil etched Great Henge will hit? We'll need a place of the card. Let's take a look. Let's dive over into Commander Master single prices. I think it's worth diving into. While we do this, I'm going to keep talking about your messages in chat. I just want to make sure. Let me pre-set up the Commander Master singled, and I'm going to ask you guys, with the cheap prices, as I answer your questions and as we talk about some of this, I want to poll with the prices. Are you buying sealed or singles? So I want to ask the poll, with the cheap sealed box prices for Commander Masters, are you buying sealed products or are you buying singles? Let me know, and I'm going to use that data as I give you guys the data emoji here. I will use that data to make some takes this week. Let's talk about, let me take a second. As we pop over to talk about singles, we will finish up with some of your messages. Someone figured we'd kick Louis out of the podcast. It's Louis' podcast, so probably not. It was a horrific production. He's funny. Yeah, like, I don't know. What I've seen is that the Commander Masters packs are break-even. Cost isn't terrible. We don't spend $50 for one pack. Listen, shout out to Louis over at Kitchen Table TCG. He has opened a ton of product. He has opened product in mass and done extremely well, I think. So, Rob says, crystal clear in your review are more than fair to him. And my thank you. Jeweled Lotus needs to drop to $40. Well, Thrifty Gamer, we're about to take a review. Ooh, Sai is buying both. Singles in 3 months. Drew says, where's the neither option? You know what, Drew? That's a miss on my part, not including the neither option. Good call. Good call, Drew. The price of the boxes are lowering in Canada. We don't have Amazon dump, so prices stay the same. I mean, it's got to be nice to be consistent for a game store, like to be able to know what they're going to be able to sell boxes for. That's going to be something that's worth it. So let's take a look. It's time to break over and let's talk Commander Masters singles. Now, what I have done here is I've gone to the Commander Masters set. I have selected cards, and I have set the price from high to low. Now, this is worth noting. This is release day, right? Like, the recording of this live stream, for anyone, these live streams get a large number of viewers in the future, which I can't imagine. I would think it's more fun to do it live. Like, I think it's more fun to engage and talk and chat. I'm always in the chat. I jump into Rip and Chip by Moonshots, their pack openings, Jake and Joel's. Like, I love the chat. That's something that I really enjoy. So, maybe what do I know? But as of the recording of this, or the shooting of this live stream, it is the release morning. And we see here the high watermarks for what cards are valuable, what cards people are going, trying to pick up, are pretty much, I would say, what we expect. If we're just going to look at singles here, let's go ahead and let's try to make this, let's blow this up a little bit, What do you guys think? Should we make it a little bit bigger? Oh, too big. See, live editing. Live editing is rough. All right, so we see the crown jewel of the set is 100% the Jeweled Lotus, sitting at $550. Now, I know Alpha Investments did a video about, like, this is too much. Wait. What is that? Oh. What? What is happening? This broke my brain. We're seeing a bunch of sales for $9. These will fall off. These have to be false sales or the wrong sales or something like that. Those have to fall off. But we're seeing this sell for $550. And if we look at some of the actual sales, like, listen, people are buying this card. For whatever we want to say about the set or whatever we want to say about the card, people are purchasing this card. I think that's interesting. I don't know if I could justify a $550 Magic card that isn't on the reserve list. It's not serialized. Like, I'm 100% jaded, right? Like, let's get that out of the way. I am jaded here for sure. I just don't know if I can engage with a price quite like this Jeweled Lotus. Rob says singles in 3 months. Pat the Pauper, what up from Gen Con 2023? Shout out Pat at Gen Con. If you see Big Daddy Vegas, aka Dennis, aka Stream OG, aka The Big Sexy, you tell him I said hi. Steven said, I'm a store owner. I have a lot of people that have stated they're only going to buy singles. So Steven, does that mean, are you cracking packs and opening some of these singles? That's a good, I would love to hear how you're going about that. But we'd also see here some things that I thought were going to do well at the onset of the set. When we heard about this set, let's take a look at the Dragon. So we knew the Dragon itself needed a reprint, but I said in several videos, I do believe that the portrait version of these cards is a win for something like Commander. The portrait version of these cards in Commander, I think, is a big win because this thing comes out, it sits on the table, everyone can check it out the whole game. You get to look at it as much as possible. It's not something you have to shuffle. Like, this is a wonderful place for something like this. Ramos Dragon Engine from the Brothers War, the serialized artifacts, I think is a great card because it's something you can always show off. So I really think these are big wins. I like the Dragon here, but I don't know. Again, I haven't done any analysis on pull rates, and we will this week. We'll be heading over to Mox Alpha and checking out some pull rates. We might do that here at the end of the stream, depending on how much time. Oh, we only have 10 minutes. Maybe we'll see. Let's see how far we get. But we'll head over to Mox Alpha and check out some of this because I really do think that these portrait cards are going to do really well. Now, I don't know if I'm paying that much for a textured foil, but some of these seem like the disparity between the Dragon and Omnath Locus of Mana, whether it's Commander popularity or whatever it might be between the textured foils, it's crazy. Kozilek textured and Ulamog. How many versions of Ulamog are there now? There's got to be like 500 variants of Ulamog. Like, this has got to be a lot. But if we look here, like we did before I get distracted, like Ulamog, not selling, right? Like, it's available for 170. The last one bought was on 722. The community is not in. They don't think it's worth that. I mean, heck, we look at the Dragon. The Dragon's a crazy popular card. We're seeing like it's selling, but not in crazy numbers. And again, it's worth saying this is release day. It's release day, but people, the Magic community is just, we feel a little bit defensive, right? Like we feel like, are we willing to go all in on this? Are we willing to spend this kind of money on some of these boxes that we just feel like we're not going to get our money back out, that we feel like it's not worth it? It's just another version. It's just another variation. And again, it leans into the reason why I think serialized cards are so expensive. But if we want to get out of the weirdness of textured foils, we see the greatest thing to ever happen to Magic the Gathering. That's right. We're going to talk right now about the greatest thing to ever happen to Magic the Gathering. This is the greatest thing. And the greatest thing in the 30-plus year history of the world's most popular trading card game, best thing to ever happen, I mean it, is the etched foil. These etched foils are gorgeous. Etched foils are amazing. If you don't like etched foils, I don't know what you're doing. Etched foils are pretty, and we're seeing etched foils claim their rightful place atop the mountain with some of these, with the etched foil Jeweled Lotus, the etched foil Fierce Guardianship, etched foil Finale of Devastation. Etched foil is the best. It's the best. Crater Hoof Behemoth, Doubling Season, this version of Doubling Season. Hey, I don't want to hear they printed Doubling Season and then they're printing it again. Like, it's fine. It's fine. This is fine. Like, this is okay. Etched foil Dragon. Like, which Dragon do you want? Do you want $200 Dragon, or do you want this badass, shiny, sparkly golden art Dragon? Like, there is a correct answer here. Art is subjective, yeah, but if you subjectively disagree, you're wrong with, because I'm right on this. I don't know. I don't want to get the art discussion. I'm getting too far down that path. The Dragon, $40 for this card. Like, listen, what was the Dragon beforehand? Let's find the Dragon. I mean, like, the Dragon is already ridiculously more affordable. Like, it's come down, the base price is down, $13 already. Like, this, it's more affordable, it's readily available, and if you're just an Dragon enthusiast and you love them, you can go out and get a crazy, spicy Dragon. Now, the medallions here look beautiful. The etched foil medallions look amazing, and I know this is something we have to talk about. It's the Great Henge. The Great Henge in etched foil being at the price it's at, this is something I think, as we look at the sell-through rate of the Great Henge. We had a question about the Great Henge in chat earlier. Shout out to the question about the Great Henge. I think it was Colin. I think he said Mr. Hometown TCG, so just Josh. So the sell-through rate of the Great Henge is really good here. The etched foil version, I think, will probably be really pretty. Let's find out what the Great Henge just costs. Let's go to the... It's really hard to type when the keyboard is like, I have to reach up over the setup and do some gymnastics. like, of all the varying versions of the Great Henge, like, they're just getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. But again, this is... Give Wizards credit here. Like, this... There's a $30 version of the card that you can buy if you want to play it. And if you just want to bling it out and do something fancy, there's a $250 version of the same card. Like, that's cool. That's cool. They do a good job with this. That's cool. That deserves celebrating a little bit. Like, I know everyone's like, oh, reprints, that's terrible. Like, no, this is worth celebrating a little bit. Yoko, good morning. I was starting to get worried. I was going to be very concerned about you for a second. Yeah, so Great Henge. The medallions are going to look really pretty in this etched foil, but we're seeing, like, hey, regular prices of standard cards. I expect to see these coming down. Textured foils are the big unknown. They're the big unknown in this set. Like, what are we going to do? What are we doing? What are we going to do with these textured foils? Colin, now I think you're just messing with me. And you know what? That gets you hometown TCG, not for me, emote react. That's what you get. Hometown TCG, not for me. Yeah, textured foils are going to be the big unknown. Etched foils, they've worked on the process. It's done well. Regular Jeweled Lotus still sitting pretty expensive. The expectation of mine is obviously, and this is not a hot take, the expectation is this price comes down. It's really... I can count on one hand the number of times I've seen a Jeweled Lotus even cast. Like, I just have, and I don't know. So I'm not super big on it. Let's see. I do want to take a look at, before we sign off looking at singles and wrap up the stream, head over to May the Zoo be with you and maybe check out some sweet, sweet content. I think it's worth noting that there's a lot of value in the uncommon slot here. Before I answer some of your guys' questions, it's worth pointing out there's a lot of cool uncommons in this set that, you know, end up being over $1, near $1. So they're doing a decent job. Like, Narset Parter of Veils, by the way, being an uncommon is 100% a draft decision, right? That's a limited play decision 100% of the time. I like this set. I like what they've done with it. Is from a singles perspective, from the shifting, I bet it's going to be a fun limited play experience. But there's no doubt. Actually, before we move on, how many commons can we get over $1? It's got to be Magic the Gathering commons are crazy. That's wild. Oh, Farseek, nice. And a waste. Listen, stock me up with foil waste. This is awesome. This has been just a great experience to track. I'm really interested to follow it along and see how it goes from here. I think singles will continue to fall. I think etched foils are etched foils are great. Etched foils are GOAT. They're the best thing to ever happen to Magic. I think textured foils are to be seen, right? It's going to be interesting to see where these land. I'm excited to follow along, but I want to catch up with you guys. You guys are cracking packs and telling me what you're getting. Let's see. Wow, you guys have blown up the chat. I have so many chat messages to catch up with. You guys are crushing it right now. Thank you so much. See, I'm a store. A lot of people that say they're only buying. Oh, yep, we did that. Pat said, "What up from Gen Con?" Putting Jeweled Lotus in your deck is one way to become a target. Like, for sure. For sure. With the local trade economy not being what it used to, it's hard to justify opening expensive boxes. You have to sell all the singles online. A lot of people just don't like doing that. 100%. I've stated, like, when I was playing indie TCGs or playing Magic the Gathering, whatever it was, people don't trade like they used to. People just, it really doesn't. CM said that there's no sales volume on textured foils. You're totally right. We were looking at that. Steven said, no anything worth mentioning is you crack a box from your own collection and sell duplicates or anything and stand out. I'm not interested, but it's too expensive. I don't do it this time. Listen, totally understand. It is too expensive. Colin, I guess he's the secret layer version. Assuming you're talking about the Ur Dragon, probably. Yeah. I'll be honest, Eldraine has me way more excited than Commander Masters. Thrifty, me too. I am all about Eldraine. If you've sensed, if you felt the hype in the channel videos, you know I'm all about Eldraine. I don't see people would pay $400 for a set box when you can get a case of Flesh and Blood for $3 and some change. Like, I'm not going to get into it, Andrew, because like, some people don't like indie trading card games, and there's things that Flesh and Blood do that LSS does that I don't agree with at all. Like, the next set's an all mech set. The big problem with that is, like, if you don't engage with a hero, it's already hard to sell a product. You know, people don't talk about it. Stores, the margins are great, but stores are left holding bags. There's 250,000 boxes of Monarch First Edition out there that are just sitting on shelves like this one. Like, it's they don't just get a pass and everything they do is perfect. Like, that is not how that works, and I can't take that line. They do some great stuff, and if you love Flesh and Blood, I'm all for it. I still play on Talishar with friends occasionally. It's still something I like to do, but I'm over they get a pass for everything, and everything they do is great. Like, everyone makes mistakes, just like Wizards of the Coast, and I'm passionate about, like, hey, it's okay to talk about those mistakes. So I'm so happy to do Magic. Cheap old sets are, yeah, like, listen, there's a lot of affordable stuff in Magic. I shouted Yoko out. Thank goodness Yoko is okay. Colin says, Mr. Hometown, no thank you. No thank you with the Mr. I am sorry, Josh. Look at the Liliana texture, though. The Liliana texture is from Double Masters 22 is an interesting card. It was a lot of fun to see how that thing, I guess, I was going to say traveled, but really just tanked. I was going to say traveled, but it's just tanks. Scott MC, the cheapest price for singles are great. Can imagine how hard it is for Watson to balance between players and collectors. Yeah. Thrifty, Josh, would you trade the One Ring for Dockside Extortionist? No, but I'm looking for a place of the ring to play Modern, and I don't play as much Commander, so personally, no. Where's Meat Hook in here? Scott, have a great day. Hey, you too. Cole, the only Commander Masters packs I'm opening are going to be in a draft. Let's end that poll and see where we land. The poll results, drumroll please, with a vast total of over 30 votes. 83% of you are buying singles and 16% of you are buying sealed. Like, listen, that's where we expect it to be. Buy singles, right? Like, that's the thing. Buy singles. For what it's worth, with an all-mechanologist set, the draft environment will be less punishing to pick 5 onwards. Yeah, Again, you're 100% correct. That's totally fair. Like I said, some good, some bad. There are always positives, always negative. I'm just out of the everything is always the greatest. Like, that's not the world I live in. I don't live in that world with Magic. I don't live in that world with Fab. I don't live in that world with Sorcery, Lorcana, or anything. I don't live in that world. I want to be able to talk about things I agree with and things I disagree with. And frankly, I don't feel like getting ostracized for either take. So, Flesh and Blood ostracizes me for takes when I don't agree with LSS, when I say they mess up. Magic ostracizes me for takes when I say, hey, Wizards did good here. Like, good job, Wizards. It goes both ways. So, it's wild. Gotta go check you next week. MTG Captain, thank you for hanging out. We're going to be ending the stream. But before we do, it is time to do the thing. It is time to check the most popular podcast on all of the internet. That's right. I mean that. I mean all of the internet. I don't mean some of the internet. I mean the entirety of the internet. We are going to go check the start of May the Zoo Be With You, where I was unable to make it this week, and we are going to check out that intro. So let's fade out the background music. Let's pop over here. Let's find May the Zoo Be With You. And let's watch the intro. Let's see what the boys talked about this week while I was out. I didn't get a chance. I don't know what everyone talked about. So I'm interested. Are you guys interested in checking this out with me? I hope so. We might watch more than we normally do because I'm going to be, maybe I'll be critical. Should I just watch this and just be critical? What is this setup? Louis, my guy, what are we doing? Here we go. Without further ado, let's pump up the jams.
Okay, this has been a terrible podcast, everybody. Sorry.
I think it's been a great podcast.
The question is, should we post it? And the answer is always yes. We're going to post it.
It's always yes.
What did they do without me?
Let's go, baby.
What have you done?
Whoa. Welcome to Me This Should Be With You, America's most clustery TCG podcast. You never know who's going to show up. It's a wild ride.
I'm always here. I am always
here. That is why our views never go up. I'm of course joined by the man who came to South Carolina, told me, whatever you do, don't come see me, Louis DeGeorge.
Thank you. And we will be joined. You have to give Josh an intro. He won't see it, but
okay,
you have
fine.
to give him an intro.
And Josh, the man who saw me twice when I went to his fair state, who came to see me, drove all the way to see me.
This is true.
We
I
had
did do that.
Great breakfast at Wolf's, which
Wolf's.
was a really good breakfast place.
Wolf was a
So
good
good
breakfast
that
place.
he didn't show up for the next podcast. So he met you in real life, and he decided it's not worth it anymore.
I will say that, like, I understand that after that breakfast, needing a couple of weeks to like digest.
Yeah.
Weeks to just,
There were
get
so
away
many
from you.
potatoes in this
Lay on
breakfast.
your belly
There were so
and,
many
like, hope
potatoes.
that helped the digestion process. That was a
There
good
were so
breakfast.
many
And
potatoes.
of course, speaking is George below, and George wasn't. Were you here last week? Where have you've been all over? the
I
place,
have
man.
been. To...
You were at the National last week.
I was.
Yeah, we made a lot of George isn't dead jokes because
I appreciated that because nobody texted me said I heard you died.
Yeah.
Or I heard you have a terminal illness.
we made a lot of jokes about it.
I wanna-
What are they? I want to.
we
Before I
think
close
you
my
will
stream,
have
I need
Josh
to know
here
what they're
at some
talking
point.
about.
There were some time zone issues, we think.
How can neither one of you understand basic
Listen,
time zones?
Listen, I don't know.
It's just
I'm
Louis.
not throwing
I'm-
anybody under the bus.
I'm
here
great
on
at time zone.
You're here on time.
You got it
The
wrong.
third person on the podcast isn't here on time.
Look,
we'll let the
what a
viewers
dick.
decide whose fault it is.
Yeah,
You got it wrong the entire time we talked today.
On
It's
the phone.
amazing.
Not in the text.
He's being a dick.
Amazing.
Let's
Louis,
talk about
I-
what we're
I-
gonna talk
I
about.
see you
can't
being a
promise
dick.
you that this is
I've
gonna
just
be
been
good.
waiting to hear what
Definitely
you're going to
not
talk
what
about.
We're going to talk about. Don't even bother writing this down if you're taking notes at home. Continue.
We're going to talk about Commander
National.
Commander Tanksters. That's what I'm calling
Stop.
them.
This
We're
is
gonna talk about
ridiculous.
the Pre-cons. I think we're going to talk about.
I'm
those
going
two
to this
things when
comment
Josh shows
section.
up. We're going to talk about the $2.6 million.
I'm defending myself when I show up.
Sale.
I'm defending
Not the
myself.
Black Lotus, the One Ring to Posty. We're going to talk about Throne of Eldraine. I think we'll wait till Josh is back on that one too.
Are you just going to wait for me for every magic
We'll
topic?
talk about Gen Con.
All
We're
right.
going to talk about MetaZoo. We can talk about that one with you.
We're going to make a bunch of yo mama jokes with each other for the next.
All right, this has been an absolute disaster. Thank you all so much for hanging out today. Thank you for coming to the live stream. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you think about it and you want to help support further than you already are, you can do channel memberships, custom content, custom emotes, channel badges, things like that. Thank you so much for hanging out. Until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and I got to get to my day job. I got to go to work. We will see you around. Goodbye.